Welcome to day 24 of the 30-day AI Automation Pro Challenge. The challenge where you become an AI Automation Pro in only 30 days, no matter where you started. And first of all, guys, congratulations if you sticked with the challenge until now. You've already come a pretty long way and you've learned so much during the last 23 days. And as we are approaching step by step the end of the challenge and we're coming closer to the point where you will actually start turning that into reality, we have to cover a very important topic, and this is what is it really like to start your own business. I personally have my own businesses since 2018, so I'm already looking back at almost 7 years of business experience, and as I did so many different things during these last 7 years, I think I'm qualified to give you a pretty good impression what it is really like to have and start your own business. These days in the internet, it is portrayed as if entrepreneurship is just for anyone. And in my opinion, this is not true. And my goal with that video is to give you a raw, unfiltered perspective on entrepreneurship and how it is really like to have your own business so that you can decide if this is for you or not. At the end of the video, I will also give you crystal clear indicators that show if entrepreneurship is something for you or if you better not start your own business. And the good news is, even if you decide to not start your own business, you still learn super powerful skills within that challenge that you can also apply for yourself in your job or while working in a job for other people, which is totally fine. So with that being said, let's jump in. All right, guys, what is it really like to start your own business? My honest opinion. And on the very first slide, I tried to represent that in just one image, because most of the times you'll be on one of these two sides. You either feel like the king of the world or you feel like that little poor guy on the right side on the scrapyard. This should just set the tone for that video, and no worries, at the end of the video you will understand why. Yesterday when I prepared that video, I just took out my phone and I took notes, and I really thought, what does it actually feel like to have your own business? And now in the video, I want to share with you just honest and unfiltered the thoughts that came up. I want to start with the negative, and afterwards I will also share with you, of course, the positive aspects of having your own business. So buckle up, let's begin with the negative. Point number one, you'll spend a lot of time alone physically and also mentally. When I look back to all the years since I started my own business in 2018, this actually becomes more and more true, because the first years I had a business together with a business partner, and of course we shared everything together, the good times and also the bad times. But also during that time I already realized that entrepreneurship means being alone physically and mentally. Physically, because most of the tasks you just have to do on your own, no matter if you have a business partner or not. And you will just spend a lot of time just sitting in front of your computer or on the phone solving certain tasks. And the mental part is even more important, because when you go all in into a certain business, you will realize that at one point your surrounding and your circle will not understand anymore what you are actually doing. And even if they understand and comprehend it on an intellectual level, they don't get how this really feels like, the problems you have, the victories you have, and this just makes it feel a little bit lonely sometimes. And this is probably something that all entrepreneurs will report, that you just have to get used to spend time on your own, and that entrepreneurship can be pretty lonely at times. Point number two, you'll feel a lot of pressure from yourself, but also from clients. If I look back to the days where I was employed at BMW, and then when I became self-employed, first with personal training, selling real estate, and then having my own AI business, the pressure on my shoulders just quadrupled. At BMW, I also had a quite important role, but at the end of the day, I always knew that there's a boss above me, and if anything goes wrong, he will take the responsibility for it, and at the end of the day, I just go home and I will sleep like a baby no matter what. Because you always have that protection of your boss or the organization. It is never truly on you. At least this is how I experienced it. But when you have your own business, everything is on you. If something goes wrong, it is your fault and it is your responsibility to take care of it. And especially since I work in the AI industry and in AI automation with other businesses, the pressure is even higher. First of all, these customers have high expectations. Second, oftentimes it is not easy to solve what they want from you. And thirdly, there's also your own expectation of yourself and your business and what you want to achieve. And all that together is just a huge pressure on my shoulders and something that you have to prepare for and that you have to know about when you step into having your own business. Next one, you'll feel a ton of frustration. And this is also 100% sure, and I actually experience that daily. Entrepreneurship and having your own business is basically like a filter that just filters out problems. And it's just normal, but you have to be prepared for that. It means that every day you solve problems. And once you solved all the problems that you thought exist, you will scope for other problems and you naturally will approach other problems and you will solve them. But this also means in a natural way that there will be a lot of frustration and setbacks because you cannot always solve the problems right away. And if you are not used to handle frustration and to handle setbacks, this can easily crush you. And because of that, I just want to prepare you. If you start your own business, frustration will be something that you experience almost on a daily level. And if you have a character that can't handle that can't handle frustration and setbacks, entrepreneurship is definitely not for you. Next point, you'll need to give up on many things you actually enjoy doing for a long time. And this is just something that I learned during the last 1.5 to 2 years since I stepped into the AI industry. In the past, I always thought I can have it all. Like I can have a perfect physique, I can train 7 times a week, I can do Thai boxing, I can go golfing, and I can also crush my business. But since I actually sat down, was honest with myself and said, I will do whatever it takes to make this AI business work, I realized that there are things that I actually enjoy doing, but I have to give up on them at least for a while. Because once you go 100% into your business and you dedicate your entire life to it, you realize that there is no time for other things, or at least just little time. You know, I still train 5 to 6 times a week, but there are many things that I actually enjoy and that I gave up to make the AI business thrive. And to just accelerate your entire entrepreneurship process, I recommend you to just be honest with yourself. If there are many hobbies, for example, you like horse riding, you like golf, you want to go boxing, you want to go to the gym, you like painting, I think it's pretty hard to make your business successful. So just prepare for that you have to cut out a lot of things that you actually enjoy doing to make your business thrive. Next point, you lose some people along the way, intentionally and also unintentionally. What do I mean with that? As I already mentioned in the very beginning, you will feel physically and also mentally lonely oftentimes if you start your own business. And this is also related to that point that I now mentioned. You will change as you spend so much time with that business, and you have to change your character, you have to grow your character, and you will spend so much time mentally with your own problems and with your clients' problems and with finding solutions, just solving problems and getting better. And this will cause you to feel disconnection with many people in your life. Because at one point you realize that the other people in your life, they're not on the same journey as you. And this is totally fine. I want to be crystal clear here. Not anyone has to become an entrepreneur and start their own business. But entrepreneurship just forces you to work on yourself constantly, to tackle problems, to become just better and to become more skilled. And this just makes you feel disconnected to the people who just stay exactly the same. Oftentimes, I don't say that you will automatically lose all your friends. This is not true, because there are also other parts where you can feel connection. But just be prepared that with some people you will just feel a strong disconnect and that your relationship with them might change or end. And the last point, you'll have to pay in many different ways. And this is something that I have zero doubt about and that I also experienced many times. Just be aware that whatever goal you set or whatever you want to achieve with your company and your business, there is a price to pay and there's no way you can avoid it. There's no shortcut, there's no secret formula. There is a price and the price has to be paid. And that price shows up in many different ways. It is the dinners you can't attend, it's the birthdays you will miss, it's the hobby you have to give up on at least for a while. And also that took quite a while for me to understand. I thought that I can have it all, that I can do all my hobbies and that I can still crush it in business. But this was actually one of the biggest prices that I had to pay until now. I had to give up on things that I actually enjoy. And only you can answer that question if you are willing to pay the price. But just be aware that there is a price, and no matter who is telling you different on YouTube or social media or whatever, these people are probably not serious about their business, or they're just straight lying to your face. So one more time, no matter what it is you want to achieve, just always think of that little or big price tag that comes attached with it. Just being aware of that will change already quite a lot about your perspective and how you show up for your business. And the sooner you realize that and you accept it, the better. All right, guys, now we talked quite a lot about the negative, and you might get the impression that you should never start your own business, right? But now I also want to share with you the positive, because I can tell you that entrepreneurship and having your own business is also something absolutely fantastic. And here's why. So let's have a look. The positive: you'll experience a complete different level of freedom most people cannot even imagine. And exactly that, guys, is the reason why I am so convinced of entrepreneurship and why I started my own business in the first place. Freedom for myself, for my personality, is just everything. And once you experience that level of freedom, how it is to don't have any boss telling you what to do, you can go wherever you want on the globe, you can do whatever you want without telling anyone why you do it, and when you come back, it's just absolutely mind-blowing and absolutely fantastic. And if you are someone who has a strong desire for freedom, guys, this is a strong indicator that entrepreneurship is for you. At one point in the past, I just couldn't take it anymore, that I am forced to sit in an office, listen to people that I don't care about, being forced to solve tasks that I don't care about. And on top of all that, there was a limit on my income. All that was no longer bearable for me. And because of that, I just decided to quit and start my own business. And honestly, I never regret it, not even a single day. Next point, you'll feel extremely proud as you achieve victories and overcome challenges. And this is also something that I experienced since day one. I can tell you that $1 that you earn with your own business feels way better than 1,000 that you earn in a corporate job. There's just something with it that you have to experience, but if you ever earned your own money with your own business, you know exactly what I talk about. It's just a pride that comes with it, and it just feels completely different. And also that constant up and down, challenges, setbacks, victory is what makes entrepreneurship and having your own business so seductive and attractive. Of course, only if you can bear also the frustration and the setbacks. But honestly, for myself, it is like a gamble. It is like an addiction. There are these days where I just feel horrible because there's a horrible setback, but the next day you overcome it, you thrive, and you feel a lot of pride. Next point, you'll never again feel bored. So if you are a person who feels bored quite often, I can tell you, once you go into entrepreneurship and you start your own business and you mean it serious, you will never ever feel again bored. I can't remember a single day during the last 7 years where I felt boredom, for real. I can't remember. And I would strongly argue that if you have your own business and you have not achieved your goals yet, whatever this might be, money or a certain influence or status, and you feel boredom, that there is something horribly off. Guys, I can tell you that there are at least 100 things on my to-do list that I actually know I should do sooner or later. Of course, these things have different priorities and I don't do them all at once. Some things are so unimportant and so low on the list that I probably will never finish them, which is also okay. But I just know that I will never ever again feel boredom in my life as long as I have my own business and I work towards a certain goal. So if boredom is a problem in your life, go into entrepreneurship and having your own business. Trust me, this will go away. Next point, you'll get more resilient and brave. And that pretty fast and pretty naturally. Here's why. Once you start having your own business, you will be forced to grow and to overcome challenges and to do things that you don't feel comfortable with and that are frightening you. And the cool part is that you will grow into these challenges. When you start out, there are many things that are frightening you. Maybe hopping on a call with a potential customer or taking on your first project. But after a while, you are forced to do it again and again. And at one point, it doesn't feel frightening anymore, and you just grow. Also, your mental resilience will of course grow as crazy, because in the beginning, even the slightest setback is already causing you to feel bad and you are upset. But as you grow as an entrepreneur, you will tackle bigger and bigger challenges, and over time this just feels normal to you, and it takes way more to get an emotional reaction out of you. And this is a great thing. When I look back at the early days of my entrepreneurial career, I was actually afraid of picking up a phone and having a conversation with a person I never spoke to. And today, sometimes I have conversations with directors and CEOs of companies across the globe in different time zones, and this feels totally normal to me. Next point, you'll get smarter. This is also something I just love about entrepreneurship. You are just forced to level up, to learn new things, and to get smarter. Because entrepreneurship and having your own business just means solving problems and constantly solving bigger problems. And this forces you to learn new things. And I can tell you guys that it is one of the nicest feelings in the world, literally realizing that you just got smarter. You are exposed to a certain problem, and in the past, this was a huge roadblock. But the next time you approach it, you just know the solution and you can fix it in 5 minutes. And this is just an absolutely amazing feeling, and something that I actually got addicted by. If I would have to mention one single thing that had the biggest impact on my life, it is definitely learning. At the point where I realized that I no longer want to be a personal trainer, there was just one thing that made a difference in my life, and this was actually sitting down on my butt and then spending countless and hundreds of hours just learning new stuff. So here's a quick tip. If you feel stuck in your life, no matter what it is, start with learning, start with leveling up, start with learning new skills, and I can guarantee you that your life will improve. And here comes the next point. You'll become a more interesting human with lots of stories to tell. I just realized that whenever I speak to people who have their own business and who are entrepreneurs, that they just have crazier stories in general. Of course, there are also crazy party stories of, let's say, normal people. It just depends what kind of stories you're looking for, right? But if you talk to entrepreneurs, most of the times they will come up with absolutely epic and crazy stories. And I also could spend hundreds of hours just sitting here and telling you about all the crazy shit that I experienced during the last few years. I probably should do that at one point because it's hilarious, it's sad, it's exciting, it's great. It's all over the spectrum. And this is just something that is, in my opinion, a little extra that comes with being an entrepreneur. Your life will just get a little bit more exciting as you have to take on all these crazy challenges, and there are huge setbacks, but at one point, all these huge setbacks become great stories as you overcome them. And you will also have contact with other interesting people, and all that is just a great combination and gives you also more stories and more topics to talk about, what will make you more interesting to other people. And here's the last point: you'll make more money and therefore have more choices. And this is of course something that is very important, but I didn't want to make it the first point because I know many people have the illusion that they will make a ton of money right away, but this is just not true. But I can guarantee you that if you master the fundamentals and the basics and you approach entrepreneurship with the right state of mind, that also the money will follow. But you should not do it your number one priority. In the past and before I became an entrepreneur, I always thought that entrepreneurship is about buying a nice car, a nice watch, and I don't know, bottles in the club and stuff like that, you know. But over the years and the more I advanced as an entrepreneur, I realized that in reality, it's just about having choices and options. This is the actual benefit of making more money. Because once you buy a watch, you realize it's just a piece of metal to measure the time, and just generally spending a lot of money is not as fulfilling as you might think it would be. And in my opinion, it's especially these little daily situations where you actually feel that difference. Let me give you an example. In the past, when I was at an airport, I would save money wherever possible. You know, I would just buy one little bottle of water. I don't drink a coffee. I don't eat there because I perceived it as too expensive. But since I make a little bit more money, I am at the airport and I just behave normal. You know, I want to drink a water, I buy a water. I want to drink 2 coffee, I drink 2 coffee. I want to eat, I order something to eat. And I just recently realized how much peace of mind and freedom this is giving me. Because when I look back and I was at an airport, I always suffered, you know, I was hungry, I was thirsty, and I just thought I can't afford it. But now I just spend that money there and I don't give a shit. And my life just feels so much better, you know. And we don't talk about millions here. We talk about, let's say, $50 that you spend then at the airport, but your life feels just so much better. Same goes for hotels. You know, in the past, I tried to film all my YouTube videos and also my courses in public hostels. You have to imagine that. How difficult is it to find a quiet spot in a nice hostel? And now, whenever I film, I just book a nice apartment or a nice hotel to have a nice, quiet environment where I can film my videos. And it's exactly these situations where I value making more money, not spending the money on watches, cars, or whatever. Maybe you are different, but this is just my personal opinion and how I perceive making money. All right, that's it regarding the positive. And as I said, I want to share with you at the end of the video some strong indicators that this entrepreneurship is for you, but also the indicators strongly indicating that entrepreneurship is not for you. So let's go through them real quick. Number 1, freedom is your number 1 value. If you are drawn to freedom, you will find it in entrepreneurship. The unknown excites you. Basically, everything you do is unknown and there's no certain outcome. So if this is something that excites you, you will also find it in entrepreneurship. You view life as a game. I also view life as a game and I just want to level up my character. I want to experience and reach the next level. And if you also view life like that, entrepreneurship is for you. You find beauty in hard times and setbacks. What do I mean with that? You know, sometimes I have big setbacks and everything goes south, and still I kind of enjoy that feeling. You know, the feeling having the back against the wall and you know you have to deliver now, you have to solve it. I find beauty in that. And if you are like me, you will also find beauty in hard times, and entrepreneurship is definitely something for you. Next point, you believe in yourself. And this is something that is super, super important. If you have huge doubts about you, I recommend to first work on yourself and on your character, because at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself and you have to believe that you can pull it off and that you can make it. If you have strong doubts and you need other people telling you that you are good and that you are enough and that you can do it, these people won't appear. I can tell you that. There will be more people telling you that things don't work out, and there's only a tiny fraction of people who actually believe in you and who support you. Because of that, you have to believe in yourself, because no one else will do it for you. And here comes the last one, but in my opinion, the strongest indicator if you should become an entrepreneur or not: you have a solid level of discipline. What do I mean with that? On YouTube and social media, you oftentimes hear things like super easy, super fast, in just 5 minutes, in just 3 days. Forget about all that. If you want to make it as an entrepreneur and if you want to make your business work, you have to have discipline. If you don't have discipline, it won't work for you. And I don't talk about David Goggins style discipline. Yes, we all have our flaws, but if there's one thing I'm 100% convinced about myself, then that I have discipline. I'm not a perfect human and there are many things that I have to work on, but I definitely don't have to work on my discipline. And if you are also a very disciplined person and you do what you said you're about to do, it's a strong indicator that entrepreneurship is for you. All right, and here are the strong indicators that this is not for you. Certainty is your number 1 value. If you need certainty that things will work out and that you receive a certain amount of money and outcome, entrepreneurship is not for you, because there is literally no certainty at all. Anything can happen at any time and it will happen. And because of that, you have to get used to uncertainty. And if you need that, this is just not for you. Number 2, you lack discipline. I already said it before, without discipline, in my opinion, there's no way that you can make it as an entrepreneur, and you should better stick to a corporate job, because as we all know, you can coast in corporate jobs pretty well and you can work like that for years without killing yourself. But there's no taking it easy in entrepreneurship. There's no coasting there. You have to be spot on every day. And if you lack discipline, this is just not for you. Number 3, you want a normal life. What do I mean with that? If you want to have 10 different hobbies, if you want to attend every birthday, every barbecue party, if you want to go to nightclubs and vacations and these and that, entrepreneurship will not work for you. How can I be so certain about that? Very simple. Whenever I talk to successful other entrepreneurs and whenever I look at my own life and what actually made the difference in my entrepreneurial journey, it is just that I got basically rid of anything that is not entrepreneurship. And if you just want to have all these other things in your life, I can already tell you that it will get super difficult. Number 4, you are not willing to give up things you enjoy for a while. This is pretty similar than the point that I mentioned before, but it's important, so I want to mention it again. If you want to keep all your hobbies and everything you enjoy doing, do that, but don't start your own business, because this will force you and demand you to focus your entire time and effort into one direction, at least for a certain period of time. Next point, you cannot decide for yourself. If you always need someone telling you what to do and you always need to speak to someone before taking a decision, I can also tell you that entrepreneurship is not the best choice for you, because most of the time you have to decide now, you have to decide quick, and you have to decide for your own without having complete information. And if this is something that you just cannot do, you should not go into entrepreneurship. And here's the last point, your life is already perfect and you have no strong desire to change. And this might surprise you now, but if you look at your life and you truly enjoy your job, you enjoy your life and everything is perfect, I would not recommend you to start a business. Why? Think of the negative. You know, entrepreneurship is not just sunshine, it is also pretty hard sometimes. And it's just a complete different life approach. And if you already have the perfect life and you enjoy everything, I would just not recommend changing that. Because when I look at myself, at my character, and also at the characters and life stories of other entrepreneurs, there's one thing we all have in common. We just want to change. We want to become a different person, a different character, and we want to have a completely different life. This is our fuel. This is what's driving us. And if you just don't have the desire to change, you don't have that fuel, and entrepreneurship won't work for you. Alright guys, that's it for day 24 of the 30-day AI Automation Pro Challenge. Today I shared very personal opinions and views on entrepreneurship, and I hope that you got a lot of value out of that. I know that other people might see that completely different, but as I said in the beginning, this is just my personal experience and what I experienced during the last 7 years, and I truly hope that you guys can benefit from these insights. That's it for today. Tomorrow we will speak about YouTube gurus making millions with AI automations and what you can learn from them. Stay tuned. Cheers, Dominik.